Hi there, this is Michael Kahn from the Word of Mouth Marketing blog, and welcome to really the introduction to word of mouth marketing and this Learn Word of Mouth Marketing program. Our reason for putting it is we believe word of mouth marketing is becoming a very important part of most marketing strategies, and it's going to be an increasingly important part of your marketing strategy as you go forward. If certainly if we look at the evolution of marketing and we look at the idea of the traditional media, certainly in the 1970s, 80s, and even going into the 90s, the above the line strategies, they worked very effectively. Brands were really trusted, and a lot of people got their information from brands through these type of mediums. Yet the internet has changed a lot of things, and one of them is it's enabled us to talk to each other in a much quicker and more in escalated rates and at an exponential rate. We can talk to a lot more people. We can get a lot of people's opinions very quickly and easily through the internet. So this has redefined how word of mouth marketing is, and in fact it's given it steroids. So really the point of word of mouth marketing is it's an approach that replaces this paid marketing with free marketing, because what you're really doing is you're getting your customer bases and the people around your brand that absolutely love you to talk about you, and they're doing this for free because they love what you're doing. So let's understand the context here and why we think this is so important. And at the very heart of this process is buying decisions and how people make buying decisions. When we trusted the brands in the 1970s and 80s and even into the 90s in terms of traditional media, we made buying decisions based on that. Yet, given this huge availability of information based on other people's experiences, we're taking their opinions far more seriously because we can access them and we can express them far quicker and easier. So other people's opinions are driving buying decisions far more than ever before. And this is the crux of it, because at the end of the day, word of mouth marketing is about buying decisions. Now, if we look at what word of mouth is, it's a natural, spontaneous conversation. It's organic, and we all do it. Every day we have a conversation around brands, around products, around services, what they're doing to our lives. And whether we're discussing this over coffee, before we have a meeting in the corporate world, or whether we're having a discussion over supper, or whatever it is, these are natural conversations, and there's no outside influences. We're just expressing our opinions based on how we've experienced them. Now, where word of mouth marketing comes into play here is you've got to start giving people a reason to talk. You've got to start giving them a compelling reason to say something positive about you, because we don't talk about things that don't inspire or drive us or excite us. And what is important here is the idea of trust, because if we start trying to get involved in these conversations, and it's very easy for us as marketers to say, hey, wait a minute, I know people are talking about my brand. Let me try and influence what they're saying. Let me try and manipulate the conversation. It's not going to work, because at the end of the day, we want to know that what people are saying is honest and true. We don't want to be manipulated, and we don't want to be abused. So you cannot go and try and ask people to say positive things about you when they don't mean it. You can't try and manipulate these word of mouth marketing conversations, which is the challenge and the opportunity at the end of the day. So the foundation of all of word of mouth is trust. And as they say, love and money doesn't mix. Don't try and manipulate your customers or the people around your brand into saying things about your brand. Rather, let it happen naturally, organically, and give people a reason to talk about it. And this is important, because if we step back and we look at the old model in terms of marketing, it was really a poiky pot here in terms of saying we had the ad agency, the company, and the consumer, and it all worked nicely. We created our big ideas, we activated the big ideas, and off we went. But the difference was the consumer was passive. No longer. This consumer has become very active, and we can access other people's opinions in a blink, whether it's through our smartphones, whether it's through our iPads, or whatever it is, or simply asking other people. We can find valid opinions from other people. And why this is so important, and why I'm going into this, is people are now your greatest channel. They have replaced the TV medium. They have replaced the radio and the print mediums and the outdoor mediums and all of this. Excuse me. And people are now your biggest channel. I mean, if you just look at the numbers of where people come to you from, most of it, or a large part of it, comes from word of mouth, from people talking to other people. So people are now your biggest channel. So the internet has had a huge impact on this, and it's allowed people to really share their opinions and to express themselves. And I just love this picture, because here we've got this young girl saying, which one do you like? And she's able to take this picture through her cell phone, upload it to a site, and her friends are able to get in there and say, hey, I love A or I love B. And what this does is it brings the experience a lot closer, even though we're further apart, if that makes sense. And it's allowing us to crowdsource our decisions. It's allowing us to get these opinions in a very valid and unbiased way like never before. Now, marketing is about influencing these buying decisions, and this is why for us word of mouth has become so important, and why we think it is absolutely critical that you need to develop it for your organization. So if we accept the premise of what I've just said, we've got to start asking ourselves questions. Who is talking? Why aren't they talking? What are they saying about us? How are they saying it? And what and where are they saying it? Because we've got to start understanding these contexts so that we can start becoming part of this conversation, that we can start talking to our customers and embracing this. So what it all comes down to is giving people the reason. And now the question is here, what reason are you giving people? And the point is, people do need to talk. And just a simple example here. A guy I know flew in from the States. They lost his luggage. It was the first part of the conversation over coffee. He had this emotional knot in his system. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. He had this emotional knot in his system that he needed to express. And we do think with our feelings. And this is what drives us to talk, is these emotional connections inside of our body. And the more happy and inspired and amazed we are, the more we talk about something. And likewise, the more frustrated and aggravated and irritated we are about something, the more we're going to talk about it. And people do talk to feel good. I mean, even if we're expressing something bad, we're saying, don't go there because we don't want you to experience something bad. We're doing it to make ourselves feel good, which is a very primal motivation. We're also doing it to be accepted, to be part of the crowd. So we're sharing ideas, whatever it is, or our opinions, and we're saying, wait a minute, my experience on this was fantastic, and we're doing it to be accepted, to say, hey, wait a minute, this guy knows what he's talking about. Come have another beer with us. We also want to be connected. I mean, this is so primal. It's what makes us human. Come on. At the end of the day, we just want to connect with each other. Whether it's a couple of guys talking absolute rubbish at watching a rugby game, or whether it's the girls at book club, whatever it is, we need to be connected. It's about relationships, and everything is connected in a meaningful way. And we have to be connected to each other. It's what keeps us human, and it's what keeps us sane. We do like to feel important. I mean, we've all had the guy in the meeting who keeps interrupting because he wants to be seen as the guru, the expert, to feel important and that he's actually made a meaningful contribution. And we do need to express ourselves. And it's primal. I mean, we just love to share our emotions, and it's what drives us. And think about the guy who's frustrated about his baggage, or someone who's just had an absolute amazing experience, or you've fallen in love for the first time. We want to express these things, and it's fantastic. So, what do people talk about? Well, yep, we do talk about the weather. And you know what? This is the social chit-chat. This is the gossip at the cocktail parties. We do talk about weather-type conversations. Simple, easy things that we have in common. We also talk about our relationships and how we are connected to each other. We do gossip. A lot of our lives is about gossip, however you define it. We do gossip about each other. We do gossip and talk about the things that are happening in our lives. Family. I've got 2 little boys. And it's the first talking point. Anyone else who's got 2 little boys, or 2 kids, we've got an immediate connection. We understand each other. We've gone through a similar experience. We can talk about it, and it's a relevant conversation. We talk about events. I mean, whether my wife, she still loves the U2 concert. I never went because I'm not a fan of theirs, but apparently it was a mind-blowing concert, and she still raves about it, and I'm getting quite tired about the discussion. But we talk about events. We love to talk about each other. We want to gossip about each other. And you know what? Guys and girls, just as much as each other. We talk about products. And at the end of the day, your product or your service is there to help someone improve the quality of their lives. That's really what it is, whatever the underlying need or motive is. And they're not waking up in the morning saying, yes, I've got to go and buy this guy's product because I want to improve the quality of their balance sheet, or their advertising was just so amazing, I've got to buy the product. They're going to buy it because of a need. And when these products and services are really mind-blowing, we're going to talk about them. The iPhone is probably the most talked about object in this sense because it's mind-blowing. It's fantastic. Or the iPad. You know, these are huge topics of conversation. So what does this mean to you? Really, this whole point is we can distill this down to 4 elements. You have to be talkable. We don't talk about boring things. We don't sit and have boring conversations. When the phone conversation starts getting boring, we put the phone down. We don't want to talk about boring things. We want to talk about exciting things. We want to talk about emotional things. We want to share and express ourselves. Got to make it easy. You know, too many businesses make it really difficult and ask too many customers to hop through the loops. And I mean, one of my pet hates is you go to one of the large chains and you buy your product, and as you're walking out, you got the security guard saying, "I need to check your payslip," and he's just watched you buy it. I'm like, go, you know, just leave me alone. I've bought it. It's my product. You know, don't bug me. You know, it's mine. And these kind of things just make life difficult for your customer. And the more difficult you make it, the harder the decision-making process is. The easier and quicker you make it, the quicker the decision-making process is, and the more exponential your growth. It's about feelings. It all comes down to feelings. And it's, you know, the net effect here is inspire happiness. And however you want to define that, that's fine. But inspire that amazement, that wowness, that happiness. So people sit back with contentment rather than contempt. And you know, it's just what makes us human. And the last, and I've discussed this, is trust and credibility. When the banks really screwed us on the banking crisis, their trust and credibility went out the window. We still don't trust them. We don't like them because of their behavior. So those are the 4 elements, and those are the 4 guidelines that you need to be looking at in terms of word of mouth. So how do you go about doing this? Excuse me. What we've done is we've developed a word of mouth marketing strategic growth circle. And it's a process we use when we help our clients, and we're quite happy to share it here. We want you to take these ideas and build your own word-of-mouth marketing strategy and develop your own word-of-mouth marketing strategy. And the premise is very simple. There are 4 elements. You've got to find your fans, and you also got to find your detractors, and you've got to start working with them, and you've got to start inspiring the conversations, changing the bad conversations to the good. And you've got to start enabling them. You've got to give them the right tools. You've got to give them the right things to talk about. And then you've got to get the conversations going. You've got to get the referability going, and you've got to be part of that conversation. You can't let it drop. So you get people talking about you, and you're not part of that conversation, or you can't leverage that conversation so it turns into rands and cents for you. So you've got to be part of the process. So it does mean some form of change and drive from you. And really the last point is the measurement. Now, I'll go through each of these elements in the next four presentations. And I hope you find it inspiring, and please, if there's anything that you're concerned about, you want to ask, there is a comment section below. Please drop us a comment. There's also a refer your friend form below, because this is about word of mouth, and word of mouth is about learning to refer things to each other. So if you've enjoyed this, please refer this to a couple of your mates, or to business colleagues, or someone that you think can actually help, that it'll help develop their marketing strategy. So until we chat to you in about 2 days' time, this is Michael Kahn saying thank you for listening, and we'll chat to you then. So from the Word of Mouth Marketing blog, till then, cheerio. Bye-bye.